You did not stumble into this moment by accident. Pause. Breathe. Let your spirit settle, because something ancient and deliberate is being spoken directly to you now. You have always felt it, that sense that your life has been wrapped in invisible hands, that certain doors never open no matter how qualified you were, that certain relationships dissolved even when you tried to hold them together. This was not rejection. This was protection. You were hidden on purpose, beloved chosen one. You were never meant to be exposed too early. God concealed you because what He was preparing for you required preservation. Your heart carried a softness that could have been exploited. Your spirit held a light that would have been drained by the wrong people. So heaven stepped in. You were placed behind the veil, not because you were unworthy, but because you were valuable. Precious things are not left out in the open. There were seasons when you wondered why others advanced faster, married sooner, built wealth earlier, or seemed to receive favor effortlessly while you labored in silence. You questioned yourself late at night. You replayed conversations. You asked God if you had missed something. But what you did not see then is what you are beginning to understand now. Delay was your covering. Isolation was your shield. The silence was strategic. You were hidden because God was guarding your future provision. Not just money, but peace, stability, safety, and rest. The soulmate approaching your life is not arriving empty-handed. This is not a connection built on emotional chaos or lack. This is someone sent to cover and provide. Someone whose wealth is not just financial but spiritual, emotional and structural. And before such a union could occur, you had to be kept intact. Think back. There were people who desired access to you but could not reach you. Situations that almost pulled you in, yet somehow collapsed at the last moment. That was not bad luck. That was divine interception. God was saying, "Not yet. This one is mine." You were being stored away like a treasure until the appointed time. You may not have realized it, but while you were hidden, heaven was rearranging things. God was aligning bloodlines, finances, geography, and timing. He was shaping a provider who would not dominate you, misuse you, or make you feel small. He was shaping someone who understands responsibility, who knows that provision is not control but service, not power but protection. And you, while hidden, you were being refined. Your discernment sharpened. Your tolerance for dysfunction decreased. Your voice grew stronger. Your boundaries became firmer. You stopped begging to be chosen because something inside you remembered you already are. This is what hiding does. It strips away desperation and replaces it with authority. Do not misinterpret the hidden season as abandonment. God never left you, in fact, He was closer than ever. He was watching over conversations you never heard, shielding you from deals you never signed, and removing you from paths that would have cost you everything. Some of the heartbreaks you cried over were actually rescues. Chosen one. The wealth coming toward you is not random prosperity. It is provision with assignment. It is meant to establish you, not distract you. To stabilize you, not inflate ego. God hid you because premature exposure would have attached you to people who wanted benefits without covenant. But what is coming now is covenant-backed provision. There is also something you must understand about your soul. You are not wired for survival mode forever. You were created for rest, creativity, and legacy. God knows this. That is why the one approaching you carries capacity to hold space for your calling, to underwrite the vision God placed inside you, to protect your peace while you walk out your purpose. As was spoken in the sacred texts of old, it is written in the book of Colossians chapter 3, verse 3, "For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. This is not poetic language. This is spiritual reality. Your life, your true life, has been concealed in God beyond the reach of misuse. Until heaven says now. If this message is reaching you now, it is because the hiding season is thinning. The veil is lifting. What was concealed is about to be revealed, not to everyone, but to the one assigned to recognize your value without explanation. You will not have to audition. You will not have to chase. Recognition will be natural, mutual, and peaceful. But hear this carefully. Do not rush ahead of God in excitement. Stay grounded. Stay obedient. Stay aligned. Hidden seasons end cleanly when they are honored, not resented. Gratitude for the protection unlocks grace for the transition. This is also your confirmation to stay vigilant. Not everyone deserves access just because the door is opening. Discernment does not disappear when provision arrives, it becomes even more necessary. God is not just bringing wealth to you. He is bringing order, and order requires wisdom. Before you move forward, take a moment right now. If this resonates in your spirit, do not scroll away. This is a divine pause. Gently affirm your alignment. Like this message so it reaches other chosen ones who are still questioning their hidden season. Share it with someone who needs reassurance that delay is not denial. And if you have not yet, subscribe, stay connected to what God is unfolding here. At the very end of this moment, seal it with a simple prophetic act. Comment the number 777 below, not out of superstition, but as a declaration that you recognize divine completion, divine alignment, and divine timing working in your life now. You are now being invited to see the delay through heaven's lens, not through human impatience. What once felt like stagnation was actually synchronization. God was not slowing your life down. He was preventing collision. Some destinies cannot afford to arrive early because too many components must be aligned at once. One missing piece would have caused collapse. The delay refined you in ways speed never could. Speed produces surface-level confidence, but waiting produces depth. While time passed, your inner world was being reorganized, your values clarified, your tolerance for confusion decreased. You stopped romanticizing instability. You began craving order, peace, and sustainability. This internal shift was not random, it was preparation for the level of provision approaching your life. At first, waiting felt like loss. You watched opportunities pass, relationships fade, seasons end without resolution. But over time, something changed. You stopped chasing outcomes and started cultivating wisdom. You learned when to speak and when to stay silent. You learned that not every open door is an invitation. These lessons only come through delay. God also used the waiting season to dismantle urgency. Urgency often disguises fear. Fear of missing out. Fear of being left behind. Fear of not being chosen. Delay exposed these fears so they could be healed. By the time provision arrives, it will meet a soul no longer driven by anxiety but anchored in trust. Understand this clearly: provision arriving too early would have tested you in unhealthy ways. Wealth amplifies what already exists. If fear was dominant, it would have grown. If insecurity lingered, it would have surfaced. God waited until your foundation was stable enough to hold what He is releasing. The one coming into your life also required time, not because they were unworthy, but because responsibility must be learned. God does not entrust covering and provision to someone who has not learned restraint. They needed seasons of loss to teach humility, seasons of discipline to teach stewardship, and seasons of silence to teach listening. Delay built compatibility beyond attraction. It aligned values, pace, and purpose. Without this time, You may have connected emotionally but clashed structurally. God is not interested in temporary sparks. He is establishing permanence. You may remember moments when you almost compromised, when loneliness whispered lies, when impatience tempted you to settle for less than alignment. But something always stopped you. That resistance was not stubbornness. It was the spirit protecting your future. Delay also exposed counterfeit paths. Some options looked promising but required you to abandon peace. Others offered comfort but demanded silence. Time revealed their true cost. By waiting, you avoided debts you did not need to pay. There is a maturity that only waiting produces the ability to hold abundance without panic. You are learning to receive without rushing, to trust without gripping, to move without forcing. These are essential qualities for the season ahead. God's timing does not operate on human clocks. It operates on readiness. When the environment, the people, the finances, and the hearts are aligned, movement happens naturally. No strain, no chaos, no confusion. That is the kind of transition you are approaching. Delay trained your spirit to recognize peace as confirmation. When the provision arrives, it will not come with pressure. It will not demand urgency. It will feel steady, grounded, and secure. That is how you will know it is from God. There is no need to grieve the time you spent waiting. Nothing was wasted. Every quiet day built capacity. Every unanswered prayer strengthened endurance. Every pause deepened wisdom. You are not late, you are ready. Heaven speaks clearly through the words recorded in the book of Psalms. Chapter 27, verse 14. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Notice the promise embedded in waiting: strength, not weakness, not loss, strength of heart. That is what you gained. A strengthened heart can steward love, wealth, and responsibility without collapse. That strengthened heart is the real inheritance of the waiting season. It means you are no longer easily shaken by uncertainty or dazzled by appearances. You can sit in abundance without guilt and in responsibility without resentment. You have learned how to remain yourself when circumstances change. This is why what is coming will not overwhelm you. You are no longer surviving, you are capable of sustaining what God places in your hands. Because of this inner strength, you will recognize provision not by its size, but by its peace. You will not rush decisions or cling out of fear of loss. You can evaluate clearly, respond wisely, and rest deeply. This strength allows love to feel safe, wealth to feel orderly, and purpose to feel grounded. What once would have intimidated you will now feel natural. That is how you know the waiting did its work. Now the season is shifting, not because you demanded it, but because the work of waiting is complete. What comes next will meet you whole, grounded, and prepared. The delay has fulfilled its purpose. You are beginning to see why separation was not abandonment, but instruction. God did not pull you apart from certain people to punish you. He did it to prevent premature reconnection. Separation is the classroom where transformation becomes visible. Without distance, patterns repeat. Without silence, wounds stay hidden. That is why this phase matters more than emotional longing. There is a danger in reconnecting too quickly. Familiarity can disguise stagnation. Comfort can imitate alignment. God knows that if you reconnect before internal change occurs, you will replay the same cycle with new hope but old wiring. This is why heaven insists on inner transformation before external reunion. Changed proximity without changed identity produces deeper disappointment. You must understand this clearly. Missing someone is not proof of readiness. Nostalgia is not evidence of growth. Chemistry does not equal covenant. God watches for fruit, not feelings. He looks for new responses where old triggers once ruled. Until your reactions change, reconnection is delayed by mercy, not denial. This separation has been working on both sides. While you were healing, unlearning, and strengthening boundaries, the other person, whether known or not, was being confronted with their own limitations. God does not rush reconnection because unresolved immaturity becomes amplified when access is restored. Separation exposes truth that closeness conceals. Here is the practical wisdom you must apply now. Do not initiate, respond, or reopen doors simply because time has passed. Time alone does not heal. Truth does. Ask yourself honest questions. Do you now require peace instead of intensity? Do you choose clarity over chaos? Do you walk away faster from disrespect? If these answers are not solid, reconnection is premature. Transformation is measurable. It shows up in what no longer triggers you. It shows up in your ability to pause instead of react. It shows up in your willingness to walk away without explaining yourself. These are signs of maturity. God waits for these markers before allowing paths to cross again. You are also learning discernment. Not everyone who returns has changed. Some return because access feels easier than growth. Others return because loneliness speaks louder than accountability. You are not obligated to reopen a door just because someone knocks with familiarity. Transformation gives you permission to choose differently without guilt. God is protecting you from recycled pain. If reconnection happens before inner change, you would confuse hope with healing. That is why this season feels strict. Heaven is not being harsh, it is being precise. You are being trained to honor internal shifts more than external pressure. This principle applies even if the future partner is someone new. The rule remains: never bond before transformation. Never build before healing. Never commit while still negotiating your worth. What God is preparing is not fragile, it is structured. And structure requires readiness on both sides. You may feel moments of impatience. You may wonder if you are being too guarded. But caution after growth is wisdom, not fear. Fear reacts, wisdom observes. Fear rushes, wisdom waits. What you are practicing now is wisdom. Separation also teaches self-trust. You are learning to listen to discomfort instead of overriding it. You are learning that peace leaving a situation is more important than approval entering it. This internal authority is critical for the union ahead. Without it, provision would come with pressure. With it, provision comes with rest. There is a divine order here: transformation first, then connection. Identity first, then intimacy. Stability first, then provision. God never reverses this order. When people try to shortcut it, consequences follow. You are being spared that cost. You are no longer called to convince anyone of your value. If reconnection requires you to shrink, explain, or prove growth, it is not aligned. True alignment recognizes change without interrogation. It feels steady, not suspenseful. The separation season also reveals this truth: not everyone who walked away is meant to return. Some were removed permanently so the future could arrive clean. Your task is not to predict who stays or goes, but to remain obedient to the process. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16, "You will know them by their fruits." Notice fruit, not promises, patterns, not apologies, consistency, not intensity. This applies to others and it applies to you. This is why you are instructed not to rush reconnection before inner change. The fruit must be visible. Peace must be sustained. Boundaries must be effortless. Only then does reconnection, if God allows it, serve growth instead of reopening wounds. Now, there is a moment of response required from you. Not many words, just clarity. At the end of this message, comment a sentence of under 4 words: I choose growth. This is not a slogan, it is a declaration. By writing it, you are affirming that you will not trade transformation for familiarity, nor healing for haste. You are choosing long-term peace over short-term comfort. You are aligning yourself with God's order, not emotional urgency. When you choose growth, reconnection becomes safe. When you choose growth, provision becomes stable. When you choose growth, separation fulfills its purpose and no longer feels like loss. Stay steady. You are doing this correctly even when it feels uncomfortable. The next connection will not require you to abandon who you became in the waiting. It will honor it. What is coming toward you carries weight, and weight always demands structure. This is why God now turns your attention to responsibility. Wealth is not simply increase, it is trust. Provision is not merely comfort, it is assignment. To understand this, you are guided to an ancient teaching, one spoken not to crowds chasing miracles, but to listeners being trained for stewardship. Jesus once told a story about managers, stewards entrusted with resources that did not belong to them. One was faithful, one was careless. The lesson was not about money alone. It was about the heart posture behind authority. In the story, the master travels and leaves his possessions under the care of servants. They are not owners, they are managers. One steward treats what is entrusted to him with respect, foresight, and discipline. He plans, he prepares. He understands that what he holds reflects the character of the one who gave it. Another steward treats the resources casually. He assumes delay means permission. He wastes, neglects, and acts as though accountability will never arrive. This is where many misunderstand wealth. God does not measure readiness by desire, but by discipline. The faithful steward does not wait to be watched to do what is right. He moves with integrity even when no one is inspecting. That is why, when the master returns, the faithful steward is not afraid. He is prepared. The unfaithful steward, however, lives on assumption. He mistakes patience for absence. He confuses delay with approval. He believes consequences are distant, so responsibility becomes optional. When the master returns, exposure follows. Not because the master is cruel, but because trust was violated. This teaching is not meant to scare you, it is meant to clarify you. The wealth approaching your life is not a reward for suffering. It is a trust given because God sees capacity. But capacity must be maintained. Notice something critical: the faithful steward did not obsess over ownership. He focused on alignment. He did not ask, "How much can I enjoy?" but "How do I preserve what was given?" This mindset is what separates provision that lasts from provision that collapses. This applies directly to the soulmate being sent to cover and provide for you. Their wealth is not self-generated pride, it is stewarded increase. They understand accountability. They know that provision exists to protect vision, to stabilize family, to support calling. This is why God waited. This level of responsibility cannot be rushed. It also applies to you. Even if you are not the primary financial provider, you are still a steward of peace, of wisdom, of atmosphere. How you respond to abundance matters. Will you manage peace carefully? Will you protect what God establishes, or will you treat stability casually because chaos feels familiar? The faithful steward thinks long-term. He prepares for absence as carefully as presence. He understands that seasons shift. Wealth can increase or decrease, but stewardship remains constant. That is why God trusts him. The unfaithful steward lives emotionally. He reacts instead of plans. He spends before securing. He consumes before covering. And when correction comes, he calls it unfair, but heaven calls it consequence. God is not bringing wealth into your life to test your ego. He is bringing it to test alignment. Will abundance make you softer or wiser? Will provision deepen gratitude or entitlement? These are stewardship questions, as Jesus himself taught in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16, verse 10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. This is the measuring line heaven uses. Not charisma, not declarations, faithfulness in small things, quiet consistency, integrity when no applause follows. Your hidden season trained you for this. Your waiting season stripped entitlement. Your separation season taught discernment. Now, stewardship becomes the theme. The wealth arriving will not be reckless. It will be ordered. It will arrive with responsibility attached. And here is the comfort: you are not entering this unprepared. God does not hand heavy assignments to weak foundations. The reason this message is resonating is because you already carry the mindset of a faithful steward. You value peace. You respect order. You understand that provision exists to serve purpose, not replace it. If this teaching is grounding you rather than intimidating you, that is confirmation. Fear resists responsibility. Readiness welcomes it. If this message is helping you see wealth through God's lens, pause for a moment. A gentle act of support helps these teachings reach others who are still equating abundance with indulgence. Liking this message tells the system it carries value. Sharing it may answer a question someone has been quietly asking. And if you choose to subscribe, you are simply saying you want to stay connected to wisdom that builds, not just excites. There is no pressure here, only alignment. Faithful stewards move intentionally, never impulsively. Remember this as you move forward: what God sends to cover and provide will not enslave you. It will stabilize you. What God entrusts will not control you. It will partner with you. And what God builds through stewardship will outlast seasons, storms, and shifting economies. You are not stepping into random wealth. You are stepping into managed abundance, and heaven trusts you with it. You are now entering a phase where awareness becomes protection. What is approaching your life will not arrive loudly or dramatically. It will not announce itself with force or pressure. God does not need noise to confirm his work. Instead, he gives signs, quiet, consistent indicators that allow discernment to lead rather than emotion. Recognition always precedes arrival. Before God sends provision in the form of a person, he trains your eyes to see differently. You no longer evaluate by attraction alone. You no longer confuse generosity with alignment. You begin to notice patterns instead of promises, rhythms instead of intensity. This is how heaven prepares you to recognize what is real. One of the first signs is peace without excitement. This may surprise you. You once believed that destiny would feel overwhelming, electric, uncontrollable. But what is truly sent by God feels grounded. Your nervous system does not panic. Your spirit does not feel rushed. There is no urgency to impress or perform. You are able to be yourself without strategy. Another sign is consistency without pursuit. What is approaching you does not need chasing. It shows up steadily. It does not disappear when challenged. It does not change tone when boundaries are introduced. It respects your pace instead of trying to accelerate it. This steadiness is rare and it is intentional. You will also notice alignment in values before alignment in vision. God does not start with future plans. He starts with present character. You will see how this person treats responsibility, how they speak about authority, how they handle correction. Wealth sent by God is never reckless. It is disciplined, structured, and accountable. Pay attention to how they speak about provision, not boasting, not minimizing, simply acknowledging responsibility. They do not use wealth to dominate conversations or elevate ego. They understand that increase comes with obligation. This mindset is a sign of divine preparation. Another confirmation is mutual safety. You feel emotionally safe without explanation. Silence does not feel threatening. Disagreement does not feel dangerous. There is room for honesty without fear of withdrawal. This kind of safety cannot be manufactured. It is cultivated by maturity. You will also notice timing alignment. Conversations flow without forcing. Availability matches intention. There is no confusion about direction. When God is involved, clarity replaces guessing. You are not left decoding mixed signals. Peace becomes the language. There is also an internal sign within you. Discernment activates without suspicion. You are alert but not anxious. You observe without assuming. You are able to pause and pray instead of reacting. This is how you know healing has taken root. Your spirit is no longer driven by fear of loss. God also gives confirmation through fruit over time, not overnight perfection, but visible consistency. What they say today aligns with what they do weeks later. There is no erosion of integrity, no gradual boundary testing, no subtle manipulation. This stability is rare and it is deliberate. Be mindful, recognition does not mean immediate union. Seeing clearly does not require rushing forward. Discernment is not urgency. God reveals signs early so you do not misinterpret later pressure. When something is from Him, it can wait without fear of disappearance. Another sign is how conflict is handled, not avoided, not dramatized. Addressed with accountability and humility. This is crucial. Wealth magnifies conflict if maturity is absent. But when responsibility is present, conflict becomes constructive rather than destructive. You may also sense alignment in mission without rehearsal. Values overlap naturally. Purpose does not compete. There is room for both callings to breathe. Provision does not silence vision, it supports it. This balance is a strong indicator of divine order. At this stage, God is sharpening your recognition because counterfeits exist. Not everything that looks generous is safe. Not everything that offers comfort is aligned. Discernment is your shield. And God never sends provision without also sending wisdom to protect it. Heaven reminds us through the writings of Paul in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 9, verse 8. And God is able to bless you abundantly, so that in all things at all times, having all that you need, you will abound in every good work. Notice the purpose of abundance, every good work. Not indulgence, not ego, assignment. This is why recognition matters. Provision sent by God always points back to purpose. As you become aware of these signs, something will shift internally. You will feel less impressed by surface-level generosity and more anchored in substance. You will stop asking, "Do they like me?" and start asking, "Is this aligned with what God is building?" This is growth. Now, at this moment, there is a response that anchors discernment into action. Not many words, just alignment. At the end of this message, comment the number 777 below. This number represents completion, divine order, and spiritual alignment. By commenting it, you are declaring that you choose clarity over confusion, wisdom over impulse, and God's timing over emotional urgency. Let that be your seal. Recognition is active, discernment is awake, and what is approaching will meet a version of you who knows how to see clearly. What you are learning now is subtle, but powerful. Timing is not unlocked by desire, but by readiness. God does not respond to urgency. He responds to alignment. This is why so much has shifted inside you before anything visibly shifted around you. Heaven always works from the inside out. Readiness is not perfection, it is stability. It is the ability to receive without panic, to hold without gripping, to walk forward without constantly looking back. Earlier in your journey, even good things would have overwhelmed you because they arrived while parts of you were still healing. Now, you are different. Your spirit no longer confuses intensity with destiny. You can sit with uncertainty without collapsing. That is readiness. One of the clearest signs of readiness is obedience without emotional reward. You learned to do the right thing even when it did not produce immediate results. You stayed honest when shortcuts were available. You walked away when staying would have been easier. These quiet acts mattered more than you realized. They recalibrated your timing. God watches how you steward small instructions. He observes whether you honor boundaries no one enforces, whether you tell the truth when lying would be convenient, whether you wait even when impatience whispers that you are being forgotten. These moments are invisible to people, but loud in the spiritual realm. Another mark of readiness is healed expectation. You no longer expect people to save you. You no longer assign divine roles to human beings. You understand that provision flows through people, not from them. This keeps your heart free from disappointment and your relationships free from pressure. God waits for this clarity before releasing partnership. You are also learning to recognize resistance without interpreting it as rejection. Delays no longer trigger panic. Silence no longer feels like abandonment. You trust that God can pause movement without withdrawing favor. This emotional regulation is not accidental, it is evidence of maturity. Readiness shows up in how you handle peace. In the past, peace felt unfamiliar, even boring. Now you protect it. You choose it deliberately. You are no longer drawn to chaos disguised as passion. This shift tells heaven that you are capable of sustaining stability without self-sabotage. God also prepares your language. Notice how you speak differently now. Less explaining, less defending, less overpromising. You say what you mean and mean what you say. Words carry weight when readiness arrives. God refines speech before releasing influence. You may not feel powerful, but you are grounded. And grounded people can carry weight. What is coming will not require you to perform or prove, it will require you to remain consistent. That is why readiness matters more than excitement. There is also a deeper layer of obedience when no one is watching. You chose integrity in private moments. You honored convictions even when compromise would have gone unnoticed. These choices unlock trust. God entrusts provision to those who will not misuse it when accountability feels distant. Readiness also involves surrendering control over outcomes. You stop trying to orchestrate how, when, and through whom God should move. You learn to pray, then release, to prepare, then wait, to listen, then obey. This posture accelerates timing because it removes interference. God does not withhold blessings out of caution alone. He withholds them until the recipient will not confuse the blessing with the source. You have reached a place where gratitude flows upward, not outward. You know who your provider is. This keeps provision from becoming an idol. You are also ready because you have accepted responsibility without resentment. You no longer view obligation as loss of freedom. You understand that commitment creates safety, structure creates longevity, and discipline creates peace. This mindset is essential for the season ahead. Another indicator of readiness is how you handle disappointment. When things do not go as planned, you recover faster. You do not spiral into self-blame or suspicion. You recalibrate and continue forward. Resilience is a sign of preparation. God aligns timing with capacity. Capacity to love without losing yourself. Capacity to receive without guilt. Capacity to build without burnout. You now carry that capacity quietly without announcement. That is why movement feels near. There is a spiritual principle at work: obedience creates momentum. Not dramatic obedience, consistent obedience. Daily choices, small alignments, quiet faithfulness. These create a current that eventually carries you forward without force. Heaven speaks clearly through the words recorded in the book of Isaiah, chapter 30, verse 21. And your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." When you turn to the right hand and when you turn to the left, notice the intimacy of guidance, not shouted command, in a direction close enough to hear while walking. This is what readiness looks like. You move, and God adjusts you gently rather than stopping you forcefully. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are walking attentively. That is the difference. Timing unlocks when movement and obedience meet. What is coming will not shock your system. It will fit into the life God has been shaping quietly. It will feel substantial but not overwhelming. Supportive, not consuming. Aligned, not disruptive. This is the moment just before convergence, not because you forced it, but because you became ready to carry it. You are now standing at the threshold of rest, not the kind of rest that comes from escape, but the kind that comes from order. What God is bringing together is not simply a relationship, it is a union with assignment. This union is meant to establish legacy, not just companionship, to anchor peace, not just passion, to create continuity where your life once felt fragmented. You were never meant to walk alone forever, but you were never meant to merge prematurely either. Now you understand why God guarded you so fiercely. The union approaching you is not built on rescue or dependency. It is built on partnership. Two whole people, aligned in purpose, walking in the same direction without losing themselves. This is where provision finds its proper place. Wealth in this union is not about display. It is about covering. It creates margin for obedience, space for calling, and stability for future generations. Money becomes a tool, not a master, and peace becomes the atmosphere of the home, not something constantly fought for. In this union, you are not shrinking to be supported. You are standing fully while being covered. There is a difference. God does not pair strength with dominance. He pairs strength with strength. This is why the preparation was so intense. Weak foundations cannot sustain legacy. Legacy is built quietly. It begins with shared values, aligned priorities, and mutual reverence for God. It shows up in how decisions are made, how conflict is handled, how resources are stewarded, and how rest is protected. This union will not be perfect, but it will be principled, and principle sustains what emotion cannot. You are entering a season where striving decreases, not because effort disappears, but because resistance does. Doors open with less force. Provision flows with less anxiety. Conversations feel clearer. You are not guessing anymore, you are building. This union also brings rest to your nervous system. No more emotional whiplash, no more constant decoding, no more wondering where you stand. Stability becomes normal. Peace becomes familiar. And that, in itself, is a sign that God is present. Do not underestimate the power of a God-ordained union. It shifts bloodlines. It interrupts cycles. It creates environments where children, ideas, and callings can grow without fear. What you are stepping into has generational impact. You will notice something else: your prayers change. They become less about survival and more about stewardship, less about rescue and more about responsibility. This is maturity. This is the fruit of the long road you walked faithfully. Union also requires humility. Even with alignment, there will be moments of adjustment. Two visions merging always require communication and grace. But unlike before, you will not fear conflict. You will handle it with wisdom because peace, not ego, is the priority. God is establishing something that will last beyond seasons. Trends fade, feelings fluctuate. But what is built on obedience endures. This union is designed to outlive storms, not be tested by them. As the ancient words recorded in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 33 and verse 27 declare, "The eternal God is your refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms." This is the foundation beneath your future. Not wealth alone, not partnership alone. God Himself underneath it all. Rest does not mean inactivity. It means moving without fear, building without panic, loving without armor. This is the posture you are entering, and it is not accidental. It is earned through obedience. If this message resonates, take a gentle moment to support it. A simple like helps this truth reach others who are still doubting the purpose of their waiting. Sharing it may be the confirmation someone else has been praying for. And subscribing is simply choosing to stay connected to messages that build depth, not hype. There is no pressure, only alignment. Faithful things grow steadily, not loudly. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are arriving prepared. And what God is establishing through this union will carry peace, provision, and purpose far beyond what you imagined. Stand steady, walk humbly, build wisely, rest deeply. You do not need to rush away from this moment. Let it settle. Let it breathe inside you. What has been spoken is not meant to pressure you into action, but to remind you of something you already sense deep down. Your life is unfolding with intention, not randomness. Nothing here demands a response. There is no obligation, no urgency to prove anything. Sometimes the most powerful shifts happen quietly. When understanding replaces striving and peace replaces anticipation, you are allowed to simply carry this awareness forward and see how it unfolds in your own time. If this message stays with you, that is enough. If it brings clarity, reassurance, or calm, let it do its work naturally. And if you feel led, only if you feel led, you may choose to like or share it so it can reach someone else who is standing in a similar season of waiting and wondering. But even that is optional. Truth does not lose power if it remains quiet. What matters most is this: you are not walking blindly. You are not building alone. And you are not required to have everything figured out yet. Take what resonates. Leave what does not. Continue forward with steadiness. The rest will reveal itself in time.